Okay, so this is my first attempt at figuring out how to do this recording for this project, the Autoethnography project. As you can see, I have the screen pulled up that goes into detail about what the project really is. So I've done some research before. In high school, I did a 10-page paper in my English class. I've done a couple other different research projects throughout college. I've had a couple classes where they required me to do a lot, but I've never actually done a process like this where I'm recording myself doing that research. It's kind of cool. Nervous. I'm definitely nervous. I'm not a person that does well with technology at all. It's taken me a while just to even get to this point of how to even set up the camera, how to even go over my screen. I'm just trying to figure that out. Hopefully I'm doing the process right. But again, I'm excited for it. I think some of the assumptions that I would think studying abroad is more beneficial to someone than harmful. You get to experience the world, you get to gain cultural awareness. Okay, well, I'm going to be starting my research. First thing I did, I went to Google, I guess Yahoo in this case, that's what my web browser is. But I typed in Wikipedia, American Study Abroad, some kind of keywords, just kind of try to get an idea. I remember from the one article it talked about going to Wikipedia first. So I think I was looking down this list a little bit. I think I'm gonna try this one. Just see what I'm gonna do, and then my goal is I got this annotated bibliography here. I'm gonna, when I find an article or a link, I'm just gonna copy and paste the URL. I think that's my goal. Is I'm just gonna start with that. Just copy and paste the URLs, and then later go back, read through them, write what the summary is. Just kind of find some articles based on like their names. I think that's kind of the goal. Just be like, that one looks interesting. This looks like it's going to be a good one. I'll go with this one. Alright, so what I'm just going to be doing is I'm just going to copy and paste. Alright, so there's one. Okay, cool. So I think I'm going to go back to this, and I'll type in challenges. So yeah, if you do it with the quotations, then that'll be like your main term. Top 5 challenges of studying abroad. Okay, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So pretty much at this point, I'm going back through sources. I'm trying to, I'm just going onto this. I'll click the source. I'm going to find the information I need for my works cited. I'm planning on using MLA. I prefer MLA. Okay, so week 2, doing the articles. So chapter 1 of Krauss. So on to week 3 readings. These are the different articles. So the first one is Walker, Everything Changes, or Why MLA Isn't Always Right. So I've done a lot of papers, including MLA and APA. High school I was always taught MLA, and they were like, that's all you need to know, and then I got to college, and they're like, APA is the right one. Okay, so This is Krauss Chapter 6, Annotated Bibliography Exercise. I've never actually done an annotated bibliography, so this will be pretty beneficial, I hope. So I'm getting into the research paper process now. I have the annotated bibliography done. Next thing that I have to do is begin writing the paper. So the thing I want to do is do a research paper outline. This is kind of something that will help me progress in the writing process. I usually don't do these. I usually don't do an outline, but this paper, I only have a week to write it. It's a fast-paced course, so I want to make sure that I do this right. So I'm going to get an outline, kind of help me gauge what I'm going to be writing over the next couple days. I went through, found all the sources I think that would be useful for me for currency/budget struggles. Another big one that I was thinking was language barriers. I'm going to be going to countries where they don't speak English as their main language. And the last one's going to be culture shock. I'm not sure if I want to do it where I write about a challenge, then the solutions for it, or I do all the challenges, then I do all the solutions. I'm going to write down both. My name's Christian, and I'm interviewing
Colin.
So you went to Australia, right?
Yes, sir.
For studying abroad. When did you do that?
Did that between February 11th and July 4th. July 4th.
Oh, okay. So pretty long amount of time. So that was this past semester. I was lying in bed yesterday, and I realized that I didn't record anything of my beginning initial writing, you know. So I was going to elaborate on it a little bit while I'm sitting here. I started my paper debating what the title should be, blah blah blah, saying like what challenges Americans experience, but then I changed it. It's like what Americans experience when studying abroad, because my paper isn't only going to be about the negatives, but also some of the positives. I'm going to wrap it up in the end, talking about the pros that you can also feel. So I sat here for so long. I probably spent a good hour to 2 hours yesterday just sitting, looking at the paper. And I finally got my intro. Okay, so I was going to do kind of a shorter summary video. So I started thinking the other day, or I guess it was this morning. I was thinking I was on a bus ride to one of my field placement classes, and I started thinking about my own credit card that I have applied for recently, and it made me wonder about foreign transaction fees. So something I was thinking about while reading this is she had this super long paragraph kind of explaining Parkinson's and Lewy body and all of this stuff and different aspects of Parkinson's. But I think what she should do is break it apart into different paragraphs. So one section talks about what Parkinson's is, and another section talks about this UPDRS that she mentions quite a bit. Break it down. I think that kind of relates to my paper, that I had arguments, but if I was going to talk about cultural shock, I would talk about different aspects of cultural shock, and I broke them down into smaller paragraphs instead of having one really big long section of cultural shock. It was this is part of an aspect of cultural shock, this is another part of cultural shock, this is the solutions to those. So I know in the past I've done it before where I just kind of go on and on and on, but I think for my paper I was able to break it down. So I've gone through the whole process doing a rough draft, and then doing peer edits on other people's papers. So now I'm into the process of revising my own paper so I can turn in the final draft. When I was in high school, was when you have like 3 arguments, you do your second strongest first, you do your weakest one in the middle, and you do your strongest one last. Because when you're going through, yes, they're all important, your second strongest kind of gets their attention, and they realize that like your writing style, your middle one is the weakest. It's hidden in the paper. Because like when you're going through the paper, you think of the initial stuff you read, like your intro and your first argument, and you think of your last one, because the last one's like pretty much the last thing people are going to say. So you need a strong intro, strong first argument. You can have a weaker middle one, but then your strongest argument needs to be the last one. I think my strongest argument is cultural shock, and in my conclusion, I feel like it's pretty strong. So this is the last clip that I'm going to have in my autoethnography. I'm going to kind of reflect on the whole process. I was hesitant going into it, thinking that, hey, I'm going to have to record myself and I'm going to have to use all this technology. And I was definitely scared. That's in the beginning of my video. It showed that I was nervous. But now, I mean, I'm still pretty hesitant with technology. I didn't do so hot throughout the whole semester. But like going into this, editing a video, I had no knowledge on how to edit a video, and I messaged Heather Jordan about how my video was lost. Like 3 hours of work was just thrown down the drain. But looking at it, it was really fun actually to like look back and see how I've changed throughout the semester, and how I think I've progressed. So I'm actually pretty thankful for the project, and I think it's really cool. I got to see my progress and how I've developed as a writer throughout the course, and I learned a lot during the research, and I'm definitely going to put it to use while I'm over in England. So overall, I think it was a good experience for me.